Another member of the House of Lords, the gravy train of the House of Lords, went on our lovely mainstream media and decided to call Brexit voters stupid again. Okay, welcome back everybody. This is about our House of Lords, the unelected House of Lords chamber that is producing a new breed of very politicised members and peers. The Lords were never supposed to be this political, and especially since Tony Blair's days and onwards, every single Prime Minister making the political appointees and increasing the number, and without any scrutiny or accountability. The whole of the House of Lords as a chamber is now completely a political chamber, and it wasn't supposed to be political. It was supposed to be an arm of the monarchy in the House of Parliament to scrutinise, to hold the Commons to account without ultra powers to block bills, but to actually make sure that you scrutinise them, you delay them, you send them back to the Commons. That aside, now you have a situation where Lord Devon, people like him, ultra Ramonas, who have no respect for people, no respect for democracy, and it's a bit of an extreme situation because he's not elected, yet he's complaining about democracy. So let me go show you this. He was on the BBC talking about this, the issue with the economy and everything else. He's blaming everything on Britain anyway. But this is actually quite interesting what he said at the end.
We've heard some of the challenges that have been outlined here, John. Adjoa mentioned the waiting lists, hospital waiting treatment, top 7 million, a record high, record number of people waiting more than 4 hours in major A&E units, and we hear about these staff shortages. What is the solution?
Well, the first thing is that you've got to have a joined-up system and get people out of hospital when they can get out of hospital and be looked out properly at home. That's the first thing you've got to do. Secondly, you've got to train staff, which we haven't done properly. Thirdly, you do have to face the pay issue. And fourthly, and I'm sorry to say this because it's saying I told you so, if people are stupid enough to leave the European Union and have Brexit...
Really? Literally, on a public forum, on a public... The British Broadcasting Corporation, you decided to go on that show, on that channel, and say this.
And it's not only here, it's right across the board. Our situation is worse in every area because we've left the European Union.
Let's remind ourselves,
and we shall tell the government that absolutely clearly.
Let's remind ourselves, of course, the question of whether or not the UK should leave the European Union was put to a democratic vote in a referendum in which the majority of people in the United Kingdom voted to leave.
But in the end,
saying that was
the reason we don't have referenda is because we try to make decisions logically and sensibly. Many people who voted to leave voted because they were fed up with something quite different and they wanted to say, we're fed up with it. The fact of the matter is they now know the terrible damage that leaving the European Union has done.
OK.
Do they? What damage? Sovereignty? Democracy? I mean, I know the system is bad in the UK right now because our elected parties and governments are not really competent, but we have so many examples of how things went well post-Brexit, whether it was, again, as a programme, in terms of the jabs and AstraZeneca stuff, doing it before the European Union, on a logical level, put aside the whole arguments about the jabs in general. That's one thing. Trade deals and everything else, we're making our decisions ourselves, and we're still tied to EU rules. We're not really free yet. We still have so many EU laws inside our statute book. So you can't really just claim that Brexit Britain is now completely independent yet isolated. Where is the isolation when we have attracted so many migrants illegally entering this country? Where is the isolation when people and other countries still come to beg us for money, whether it's Zelensky's government or others, for handouts and everything else? NATO still relies on us to make decisions. The United Nations still relies on us. The Iranians protesting in Iran, they're saying, where's the UK? Where's the support? Where's the isolation? This is disgusting coming from an unelected lord saying that democracy, well, people are stupid, we shouldn't have referendums. Are you absolutely kidding me? It's time for you guys to stop this nonsense. It's time for people to rise up against the cabal of the Westminster bubble. We will see. We're going to continue our job on this channel for you guys to make sure we will fight back against the establishment. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to come back in half an hour. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.